Okay, so I just watched the season 2 finale of The Mandalorian. It's 4:15 in the morning. Um, whew, well, that was something. That really was something. Uh, there are some thoughts, of course, about the episode. What did I think of it? I thought it was pretty good. I thought it was a good episode. Um, huh. I really have to just go through it bit by bit because there's a lot that happens in this. Um, you know what? The thing that I thought most likely would happen did not happen, and the thing that I thought that was probably unlikely to happen actually did happen. So, um, yeah, that was that was interesting. Fan theorists who I thought were silly to theorize that one thing happening because I thought that's too far fetched. They wouldn't do that. Well, they did. I don't know how I feel about that thing. I'll get to that thing. But anyway, we start out by uh hiring Bo-Katan, bringing her back into the fray, which I thought was an obvious choice. She's a Mandalorian. She has a strong desire for the dark saber and a vendetta against Gideon. So of course, bringing her into the fray made sense for this, and I'm glad they did. Immediately, however, I I was just really happy to see the altercation between them and Boba Fett. As soon as they heard his voice, they're like, "You're no Mandalorian. You're that bullcrap Boba Fett." And I just thought that was good. I like that. It was it made sense for those characters too. Vizsla or Almec didn't consider the Fets to be uh Mandalorian, so it makes sense that they wouldn't either. But that's really cool. Uh, we start the mission, and Fett, after helping make a diversion, actually just leaves the episode, which I thought was very interesting. Um, yeah, he just leaves. He dips out. It's like, all right, boys, I'm out. I kind of wish there was more involvement with Boba Fett. Excuse me. I was kind of hoping for a bit more involvement with Boba Fett in the episode in terms of him fighting physically. That didn't happen. Um, which it's fine. Whatever. It makes sense. The ship has to take care of themselves. Um, we get into the ship, and I noticed pretty soon after that it's just gonna be Mando and his his team of warrior women. Yeah, that's a sight. You know what? You couldn't choose a better team of warrior men, and you got a shock trooper. You got your assassin sniper lady. You got two female Mandalorians. I was wondering like where that third Mandalorian guy was, but I figured they just wanted to make that a female team to have their big female moment. But you know what? They did it right in this episode, as opposed to just forcing uh, those female moments. It just makes sense in this. Who else would you get? Yeah, no Cobb Vanth though. What would he do? I don't know, but yeah. Uh, let's move on. Dark Troopers. I was both very pleased and very disappointed with how they were utilized. Uh, so when they first showed the Dark Troopers, there's a couple points in this episode where when they cut to the Dark Troopers, like initiating, joining the scene, they just started playing dubstep, which I thought was really, I don't know, it kind of took me out of the episode a bit because it's like, okay, Ludwig Göransson, I botched the last name, but there you go. Um, I think he's a good musician, a good composer. However, there's just every once in a while he'll do some sounds in the music that just doesn't feel very Star Wars to me. For instance, the dubstep in this episode, with these characters, uh, with the Dark Troopers. You know, it's it's cool and menacing, but still, it's like this is not really a Star Wars sounding thing. And I felt the same thing in the uh, Mudhorn episode, because when the Mudhorn appeared, they also had some kind of dubstep styled music that just felt really off. It's a good theme, but again, it doesn't really fit the world of Star Wars. But with that said, the first encounter of the Dark Trooper was very good. The Dark Trooper was a threat. Like, I was actually getting fearful as much as I could be. But it's like, yeah, they're utilizing that thing properly. He's very powerful. He's not being blown up with shots. Oh yeah, he's doing good. And then we find out the Beskar can pierce its armor. Which turns out that they're not made of Beskar. I think. Oh man, the theory that they were made of Beskar, which would have been really cool. They did. I think they missed an opportunity there. But yeah, they're not made of Beskar, but they're really strong metal. Going forth, we finally get that interaction with Moff Gideon, and um, you know, I was really nervous with that scene with Gideon just holding that lightsaber to Baby Yoda because this is a finale. I was just thinking, they could do something here. I didn't think they would, but there's always a possibility where they could because it's a finale. And so he and Gideon fight, and it's a cool fight. I was actually waiting for this fight the entire season because it was like an interview where Giancarlo was saying that he broke a few dark saber um, blades when shooting this thing, and I believe him. Just the way he was fighting with that blade was just like, oh yeah, you could break a few blades with that. Um, the fight lasted not as long as I would like, but Den, being the good guy he is, defeats Gideon. And what's really cool is just when Gideon and Din just enter the room with Bo-Katan, and Din's just like casually holding that dark saber. It's like, oh wow, that's a really cool visual that I never thought was necessary or needed. But there we learn that Bo-Katan can't actually receive the dark saber because Din actually won it in a fair match, which I thought was interesting because Sabine gave it to Bo-Katan in the first place. And so I thought, okay, that's a strange set of rules. Like, is there. But then they slightly explained it by. She already acquired the dark saber. She cannot do it again unless she wins it in combat. Um, which I don't know. There is a slight plot hole that some fans can focus, but I'm just gonna say that the second time around she has to fight, and I was really worried that she was gonna fight Din, but no, she just kept her cool and just didn't say anything. Unless it happens again next season, if that comes out, which it probably will. Oh yeah, we are getting a season 3. I thought we weren't because it didn't. The season 3 wasn't part of all the announcements that was like all over the place. Apparently there was an announcement, but it kind of got drowned out by the immense news that was all everything else. Um, but then, of course, the Dark Sabers they returned to the fray. Oh yeah, the Dark Sabers before they were shot into space, which I thought was like, oh okay, is that how you're? Okay, it's kind of weak. I don't know why you'd have a space door right there, but okay. But you know what? They come back and it's like, oh yeah, that makes sense. They wouldn't just die right then. And like they're this big threat. They're punching like a shield door. It's like, oh, okay, that's pretty neat. Um, and then of course, the moment that some people predicted, we have an X-wing that comes in, and I saw that. It's like, oh, is that Carson or Trapper Wolf? And they're trying to hail it, and they don't. He doesn't reply. I'm like, okay, that's interesting. And it lands, and then you just see Baby Yoda just like touch the screen, and as soon as he does that, I'm like, no, they're not doing this, are they? And then they did it. You see a cloaked figure, then you see that green lightsaber come out, and it's like, holy crap, that's Luke Skywalker. Luke Skywalker is in the Mandalorian. Like, it was really cool because he got to do things, but I was also just ooh, I didn't really know how I felt because let's be honest, I did not want Luke Skywalker to be a part of this show. Um, but he was. I I don't know. He wasn't really in the episode long enough to really. Uh, it's. Mm. Uh, hmm. I don't hate it. I don't hate it. But it's just I don't know. I I didn't really want Luke to be a part of the Mandalorian because I felt like it would just be too much. Like, what did we get this season? Like the first season we got nothing except a dark saber. This season, right off the bat, we got Cobb Vanth, Boba Fett, uh, Bo Katan, Ahsoka Tano, uh, the name of Grand Admiral Thrawn, uh, the dark saber again, and now Luke freaking Skywalker and R2D2. My gosh, R2D2. Um, yeah, that's that's a lot. Dark Troopers. That's a lot in just one season. Heck, almost all in one episode, except for Cobb Vanth. Isn't that interesting? So, yeah. Um, I I was wanting to do a video about whether or not the Mandalorian is being overshadowed. And I feel like in this episode he was. Especially when Luke came in at the end, it's like, oh, okay. So their solution is that Luke, a Jedi, comes in and saves the day. Um, I mean, of course you got to end this episode. You wrote yourself into a corner with all these dark troopers. But yeah, Luke Skywalker comes in, saves the day. Just handles these dark troopers like they're butter, which I was slightly disappointed by. I was really hoping they would be something bigger. But I digress. But yeah, Luke comes in, he takes off this hood, and I don't know, guys. I swear that's Sebastian Stan. Like, I think it is. Kind of looks like him. I think it sounds like him too. However, they credit him as Mark Hamill. And let me tell you, I do not believe Mark Hamill was in this episode. That wasn't his voice. I could hear it. I it was like a funny, clever trick that they did, but it's like, oh, really, Mark Hamill? Are you sure that's not Sebastian Stan? They could do Sebastian Stan. Like Disney Plus has the Winter Soldier and Falcon show. Like they just borrow him into their volume studio and say like, oh hey yeah, come in, we gotta film some stuff. Um, and so yeah, he comes in and he takes Grogu, and there's this really nice moment where Mando takes off his helmet. Um, and they just have a little bonding, and then Grogu. I love Grogu's childlike reaction to seeing R2. He was really cute. Um, but yeah, Grogu, Baby Yoda leaves the show. Luke Skywalker takes him away, which is it's kind of sad and like slightly disappointing. I say disappointing more so because it's like, oh no, like what would this show become without Baby Yoda? Like season 3 is gonna be like the start of a whole brand new story because Baby Yoda Grogu was an essential part of this show. Huh, that's interesting. It's gonna be very curious. I wonder what it's gonna be like. Um, when that finally comes out, Christmas of next year. Um, but yeah, interesting stuff. We also have an end credit scene, which I thought was really weird, because it's like, wait, we never had an end credit scene for Star Wars. Like the credits, they didn't have the artwork for the credits, and so like, okay, that means that the episode is over. Like, there's no reason for me to stay. But then I checked the time, and it's like, wait, there's still like 6 minutes left. Like, what's going on? So yeah, Boba Fett comes to Jabba's palace, who's being run by that Twi'lek, who's now really fat. He kills him and takes the throne, which I thought was like, okay, was that your motivation? Who knows? And then they advertised the Boba Fett book coming 2021. They advertised the book. Really cool. Um, when they announced the book of Boba Fett, I thought it was like, is that its own TV show? Dumb moment. There's a book coming. I knew this, but still, I thought the book of Boba Fett's like, oh, a new TV show. Oh no, it's just a book. Okay, silly me. But yeah, that's the Mandalorian season 2. Um, this show just really went by. Let's be honest. Like, it really subverted my expectation in terms of it didn't do anything that I thought it would do with the story. It wasn't a grounded story of a Mandalorian trying to find the species for Baby Yoda, the Yoda species. Instead, it was him finding the species of the Jedi, which it's cool too. It makes sense as well, but I was really hoping to just be finding the Yoda species, just because it's a simpler story. It's more grounded. Um, and I said before in like previous episodes that I did feel like everything was way convenient for the Mandalorian this season. Um, he goes to Tatooine, gets the information, fights Cop Vanth, gets the armor, goes out back to the cantina, where conveniently he gets information of Mandalorians on another planet. They go to that planet. Oh my gosh, it's Bo-Katan. Oh, guess what? She knows a Jedi. She sends him to Ahsoka Tano. Oh my gosh, it's Ahsoka Tano. Guess what? She knows where to lead Mando next. To Tython. They go to Tython. Oh my gosh, it's Boba Fett. The child gets taken. Oh no, how are they gonna find him? They gotta go to take. They gotta go get Mayfield. Oh my gosh, it's Bill Burr. Um, uh, they find the ship at location. They get to that ship, and oh my gosh, it's Luke Skywalker. Yeah, that's kind of convenient. And they're each followed by a significant character showing up. Interesting. Um, Compared to the first season, where it was mostly episodic. You have the first three, which were connected, and then the next three, which were just their own simple stories and traversing the galaxy. Here in this season, they had a mission, and there was only 2 days, 2 episodes really, where they were off mission. When they're on the ice planet, when they're with the Navarro team. Yeah, 2 episodes where they're off mission. But they was still technically part of the mission because it just made sense. So yeah. What are my hopes for season 3? Um I hope there's more Bo Katan. I felt like there's more to do with her character because she's definitely defeated that Din has the dark saber. I'm wondering if there's going to be an altercation because now that Din doesn't have the child, there could be a bit more of an altercation. I don't think Boba Fett's going to show up in the show again. Um, that's fine. Um, yeah, Moff Gideon is defeated and he's captured. Interesting. I thought he was going to play a bigger role. He might still play a bigger role because he has Baby Yoda's blood, and we don't know what he used it for. It's not at all explained. So there could be something going on that's touched on in a future season if they continue with him. But I don't think they would. I think his story is done. But yeah, season 3. Okay, I was actually wondering this. I was thinking of I wanted a prequel series on the Mandalorian where he's just a bounty hunter and just have more missions of him being a bounty hunter. Now that there's no Baby Yoda in his life, what if he can go back to being a bounty hunter? I think that would be super cool. Him doing missions. That's kind of what I thought the show was going to be about in the first place. Was him being a bounty hunter, and then Baby Yoda joins the show and just takes away that entire concept. Um, it becomes a mission of protecting the child and giving him back to his people. So yeah, that's what I want. More bounty hunter stuff with Mando. Yeah, besides that, I don't know. I don't want Grand Admiral Thrawn yet. There, he might be a big bad in the crossover event, so watch out. I'm hoping for, like I said, more Bo-Katan. Maybe there's a fight to reclaim Mandalore, because now that that's like bigger, more established, they could touch up on that a bit more in the third season. Maybe bring back the armorer and just have a altercation like that. They could bring back Boba Fett and make him a villain. I don't think they would, but if they did, that'd be pretty cool. Um, yeah, like there's actually not much to really do. This would have been a good end to the show, I feel, but they're getting a third season, which is really strange with how the show ended with season 2. Um, but yeah, no Baby Yoda. By the way, Baby Yoda is now Luke Skywalker. Like, oh my gosh, that's cool. Luke is gonna take him and train him. Well, if we take a look at the Last Jedi, um, things happen in that movie, and a lot of people died. Does that mean that Grogu did he um did he do the the did he yeah um like this was pointed out just like way early on in the season with fan theories where like Luke could take Baby Yoda, but then it's like, oh wait, no, we can't let that happen. All of his younglings are killed, supposedly, and so like, oh, that's a bad idea. But then I thought that having Luke Skywalker on the show was like, oh, that's too much. They wouldn't do that, and they did that. So yeah, there's not much else not many more thoughts for me to have about this. I'd have to rewatch the episode again and again to just really process things better. But first initial thoughts, good, sad ending. Um, I don't know. Yeah. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Bye.